account and credit card breached, Ray. It was a and I'm not just saying this for the commercial, because it was our sponsor. Like, I really had a breach.
Yeah.
And it was a really bad experience.
Right.
And you don't want that to happen. You need to protect your personal information. Call my guys down at Second Eye IT Security for your home, business, or personal office information technology needs. These consummate professionals have 20 years of both private and government sector experience managing cloud systems, firewalls, virus removal, in addition to your laptop or PC repair needs. I now personally use this product to protect my family's financial and private information from the cesspool of charlatans, hackers, and scam artists on the World Wide Web. For a free consultation, go to www.secondieitsecurity.com or call 800-320-8435. Tell them that Lance J Radio sent you and receive a specialized discount offer. Cut the music real quick. Something is really embarrassing, and I need to address this because we have a lot of listeners from around the country. We won a few shows in Phoenix. I would say that half, if not more than half, of our listeners are from D.C. and from Philadelphia, even from the New York City area. And I saw something this week. I was really, really embarrassed for my friends that live in the DMV, the metropolitan Washington, D.C. area, which is the DMV, I believe, means D.C., Maryland, Virginia, metropolitan area. Now, shout out to our sponsors, GDH Law and Second Eye IT Security, that are both located in the DMV. But the Washington Capitals finally broke through and won a Stanley Cup. Now, if you follow hockey, and I follow hockey a little bit, I grew up as a kid in Maryland, going to the Cap Center and watching the Bullets. They were called the Washington Bullets at the time. Should have never changed their name to the Wizards. That was a disaster. And the Washington Capitals, my father and my uncles would take me up there. We would sit in the cheapest seats, Ray. We could turn around and hit the wall at the top of the stadium. I remember my Uncle Charlie would bring binoculars to the games. We're sitting so far from the court or the rink. Washington has never won a Stanley Cup.
Right.
And you had Alex Ovechkin, one of probably the best 5 players in the history of the NHL, just a great player from Russia, a multiple-time MVP, leader in scoring. Washington was always that team that would perform very well in the regular seasons, but they would run into their arch nemesis, frequently the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they would lose. They finally busted through. We had my guy, I think you were out that week. We had my guy Harold Laws from OSS, part of the Lance J Radio Network, one of the podcasts that's affiliated with our team, came on quite a few times, gave us some analysis of the Washington Capitals and their march towards the Stanley Cup. I personally think that it's an embarrassment for people in Washington to go nuclear, all of the excessive celebration, the talking smack on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, the posts, the all caps, the hashtag all caps, which you see everywhere. Because first of all, none of you guys from DC are Caps fans. You can't name anybody that plays for the Caps other than Alex Ovechkin. You can't name one single person. I will give $100 to anyone from DC that calls in today and can name 3 people that play for the Capitals. Second of all, DC, you're better than this. You're one of the top 10 markets in the United States. Hockey is not an American sport.
Yeah,
Americans don't care about hockey. Nobody cares about hockey. They show hockey games on tape delay.
I care about hockey.
Oh, well, our producer, Jeremy, cares about hockey. So no one other than Jeremy in the United States cares about hockey, who's an excellent producer, obviously is very wayward in his choice of sports and sports to follow. We're going to talk about that offline. I think, Ray, and I don't know if you care. You're an LA person. You probably don't care because LA is so big. Yeah. People don't even go to Rams games, really.
No.
That's why they didn't have a team for so long.
Right.
I mean, if it's not the Lakers and they're not winning 60 games, you don't have Shaq and Kobe. Y'all are out on the beach, roller skating, tanning, surfing. and just doing LA type stuff. But I was very embarrassed. Washington, you guys won multiple Super Bowls. You had the Joe Theismann era of the Redskins. You had the Mark Rippon Redskins. You've had some great teams in D.C. Stop it. It's not that important. I'll give you half a ring. You still have the drought. You've only extinguished half the drought. Go and win a championship with the Nationals or a team that's relevant. Get the Redskins from being a train wreck, from playing outside of that abominable stadium with concrete that destroyed Robert Griffin's knees permanently. So I had to get that off my chest.
Okay, well said.
I'm going into another rant. We got a couple minutes, and this is off script. I was a couple of weeks ago, and we haven't talked about this. During the day, you're a flight attendant, so you work, you fly the friendly skies. And I don't think you for that particular company. So I'm using the wrong logo. Excuse me, the wrong slogan. But you're a flight attendant. I was on a flight, and taking care of some business for work, as I have to do for my day job. I'm on a flight, and long story short, I'm just sitting there chilling, listening to music, bobbing my head, vibing. This is a flight. This is about a 3-hour flight. I feel this hand on my forehead, and basically behind me, someone is not feeling well, and the person sitting next to that person is trying to jump out of their seat because the individual sitting next to them is not feeling well, and they don't want to be around for whatever is about to happen.
Right.
What I come to find out is that individual had, a health issue that they knew about, but they did not manage that health issue. We have a couple minutes. Right, people at the airport really get on my nerves because you're 56 years old, like you knew that you had diabetes and needed to take a cookie or bring your insulin. It's not like you just suddenly had an acute issue, right? People with the line and getting on the plane, and you have to take your shoes off. You know that you have to get your stuff together. I'm just curious, Ray, and I want you to talk about this. I've ranted enough. How do you manage what's going on that plane? As a flight attendant, I mean, people are getting sick, people are complaining, people want different foods, you got babies crying. How do you deal with that?
I smile and I continue to assess the situation throughout my flight. So I'm always looking at them. I'm always walking up and down the aisle. If someone's face starts getting a little red, I might say, hey, are you okay? And sometimes here in Phoenix, it gets really hot. Right. It gets hot on the plane, too. People do suffer from, heat exhaustion and stuff like that. So I always am keeping an eye out on my passengers. That is part of my job, continuing to walk up and down the aisle. When people come for me, I don't really, as most of the time I just act like I don't really know what they're talking about, and I just kind of move on and pay attention and do my job. Yeah,
I just think we only have a couple seconds. Some of the stuff is annoying. I'm a big guy. I try to keep my space. I try to be quiet on the plane. I try to not invade other people's space. And if I have a health issue, I take my medication before getting on.
Exactly.
That's all that we're asking. Back after these messages, D-Land Shea Radio Networks.